Yo guys, I'm HP, this is Dr. Pink, and today we're going to talk about a cool classic major rock guitar riff, and that's how it's going to sound. Let's go! Yeah, and so on. It's really cool and not too hard to play. And it's the color orange. Color orange for me is, this wide, warm and joyful joyride thing. You just go out your bike and it's going to be fun. That was it all about. And it's really cool. We're going to check out the main riff and also two secondary possible riffs, which work great in combination with this main cool classic major rock guitar riff. So let's get started. First we have to check the sound. In this case I'm using quite a brownish distortion, like old style, classic old style brownish distortion. And also I'm using an analog delay. As you can hear, analog delay has this creamy and soft kind of attack, which fits really well to classic rock or old classic rock. But of course, you can also switch off the delay and just play it plain. Good, so now let's check out the riff, the main riff and also the secondary riffs, which are really a great match to this cool classic major rock guitar riff. As an experienced listener of classic rock, you probably already recognize the key. We are in A major. And this is the really... we're using this typical A major chord with a bar A here. And the D with the A in the bass, just out of this position. Here, 3rd fret, 4th fret. But instead of going... we jump directly to the E with A in the bass and resolve it to the D with the A in the bass. So we start with 1 and that's how it's played. Okay, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it's played. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So these twos are both off beats. And on the D with the A in the bass, we can optional also make a kind of a lettering effect, which will be something like this. Then you just, with upstrokes, you just move an E string, B string, G string. See, that's quite cool. And if you switch on the delay, you have quite an effect here. It's quite cool. That you play 4 times, you can make the variations as you wish. Then you go to D5, which you probably think is easy to play, but there's one trick to know. So the D5 is 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and you damp the low E string with your thumb, then you just push through the middle 4th string to get the maximum effect. And you're doing 2 bars, or at least 1 bar of lettering, so you can make 1, 2. You go with the beat of the song by pressing against the body of the guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can do the same lettering effect as before. Okay? Then you go back to the riff, again the D, and at the end we just plain E. So it's quite simple, but it's not so easy as it looks. There are the few things you need to know about this. So we're going to play without backing track, that you see each of the parts, and then together with the backing track. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, three, 4. D. 3, 4. D. 3, 4. And E. There you can just push it through, and then it works quite cool. Let's do with the backing track, and then we check out the 2 secondary riffs. It's really cool. The next secondary riff, well, it's quite simple but very important. If you want to play a second guitar to this, the best choice will be just playing straight 8s. That's quite a nasty distortion. Let's take. Yeah, it has to come really through nicely. Yeah, maybe this one here, or this one. This one sounds cool. It has to, should not be too dull in the sound. It really has to push through, and you just play straight 8s. Open A string, open D string, open E string, just straight through. And the trick is be as precise as a machine, that if you're not extremely precise, you will slow down the song. If you're on beat, it will push the beat. You know, there's this, and the the threshold from destroying or slowing down the song to pushing it is really thin. So really check, and even myself, I always have to concentrate on this specific thing, because it's not so easy as it looks like, but that's how it's going to be done. You don't even have to grab. D, E, A. So that works really cool, but as already mentioned, it's not so easy as it looks like. This part is, I personally find this one the hardest one, because you always have to be fully concentrated and it's quite boring to play. But you have to play this way, otherwise the whole song collapses. Now let's do the most joyful part, riff number 3. Let's take it. That one works nicely. A kind of a melodic little riff. So this will be the riff. Okay, so it's only the first part which is different than the other parts, but we check out this one here quickly. You do this here. You slide in here from 5 to 7 to the power chord, and then you add a third note to the power chord, so you have a triple power chord. And then you hold this position and just keep this and do a lettering. Sounds quite nasty, but in this context is really cool. And second time. Okay, that's really cool. And the rest is exactly the same as guitar number 1. When you go to the D, you just push in through and you double up the first guitar, and this gives an extremely wide sound, and that's quite cool. And when you add the delay, I just switch it off now. You add it again, you have a really cool and wide sound. That's really cool and massive. You guys, that was a really cool classic major rock guitar riff. And that was the classic way that has been done back in the good old days of classic rock. Double up guitars, add several guitars which match with each other, and each of them seems to be quite simple. You have a main riff, and you have additional riffs which support the main riff. And as a composer, as a professional composer, I can tell that's the way it has been done, or still is going on, how you make guitars sound wide. And it depends upon the mixing, which part you want to put in front. You know, you can do this one in front if you want. You can do, if you want to have that in front, you mix that one in front, or you want to have this one in front. And that's your personal taste, but that's how you do classic rock guitar riffs or classic rock guitar songs. Good. I produced the track for you guys. You can, later on we're going to jam to that, but not today. You can download it in the HPCrazy Guitar Cam. You can also download the tabs as Guitar Pro and also as PDF. It's all available there, and please join there also just in order to support the work which me and Dr. Pink are doing for the guitar community. And also please subscribe to the channel here and all my other channels, and share to the world that me and Dr. Pink are existing if you love what we are doing. So far, see you guys.